Get the job done with these assumptions. Today, I'm going to share some really powerful assumptions that are going to help you get the job done. If that is a job that you don't know how to do, you've never done before, you don't even know if it's possible to do, these assumptions are going to ensure that yes, it is possible, and yes, you are going to get that job done. Stick around. Exciting news, I Am Money is now available on audio. This took me a long time to do it, and I'm going to share the story in this video because for a while I was holding the assumption that I did not know how to get this job done, but I got it done because I held these assumptions, and I'm going to share that in this video. If you would like any information about any of my offerings, from coaching to courses and whatever else, you'll find the information below, or you can go to my website, youaretheone.com.au. Today, we are going to get the job done with these powerful assumptions that have helped me recently get a job done that I did not know I could do, and for a long time thought I couldn't do, which is why my audiobook of I Am Money took so long, because it was something that I'd never done before. I was determined to do it differently, and I didn't know that I could do it differently, and at times it felt like it was going to be impossible. I just was in the assumption, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. This feels impossible. I don't know what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. So of course that was my reality for quite some time. So I wanted to share with you what I did and the assumptions that I held in order to change that situation around and get things moving really fast. Because when you catch yourself out holding negative assumptions in regards to something that you're doing or experiencing in reality, reality can shift so fast it will blow your mind. It reminds me of that thing where like a cartoon character sort of gets their hair blown back. It's like, whoa, soon as you get the assumptions right, woof, you are on your way. And that is what I experienced recently and that I want to share with you. I'm just going to put my hair back. So let me go back to the beginning. As many of you know, I am an author and I have been publishing books probably for over 10 years, something like that. I published my first book in 2012. And that was a self-published book. And that was prior to the industry being what it is now, meaning it was a lot harder to self-publish back then. Back then, it was all about getting a publishing contract, but because my assumptions were so limited around that, I went straight to self-publishing because I didn't think that I could get a publisher. I didn't think that I was good enough to get a publisher. So I self-published, and then I wrote another book, and then I wrote another book, and by the time I got to my third book, I was like, I'm not self-publishing anymore. I'm either getting a publishing contract or this book is remaining in the drawer. So I set about going and getting a publishing contract, and of course I had to confront a reality that was reflecting back the assumptions that I was already holding in my subconscious, which is I'm going to get rejected, nobody wants what I've got to offer, blah, 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 all of the old story. So that went on for about 3 months until I realized that I actually had to change the story that I was telling in order to get a different result. This is before I know law of assumption, because remember, law of assumption is working whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of it or not. We are always causing our reality into existence based on whatever story we're telling. So I had been holding a negative story about myself and about myself as a writer, which was being reflected back in my reality. Once I changed that story instinctively, I got a publishing contract within a month of changing that. And not only did they publish one book, they went back and read my previously self-published book and they published that too. So I had 2 books published. I got an advanced, and all of a sudden my dreams were true, and I had a publishing contract and a publisher, and my books were then out there. I was with that publisher for quite some time. In that time, I was on a contract that was a 90-10 split. And if you think I got the 90% of the royalties, you are incorrect. That 90-10 contract meant 90% of the profits went to the publisher and 10% went to me. And yes, that is a standard publishing contract. So I only ever made 10% on the wholesale of the books that I sold, which is a very minimal amount. So by the time I came to publishing I Am Money, I had made the decision to leave my publisher because I was very clear that I wanted free agency over my work. I no longer was interested in a publishing contract that was a 90-10 deal, basically. But the issues are that you can go from a publishing contract, which pays a very low royalty statement, to the big conglomerates such as Amazon, Google, or Apple, who also take a massive cut in your royalty or in your profits, not as much as the publishers, but still a lot. but they also control the pricing and they control exclusivity and they control quite a lot. From here on in, I have made the decision to maintain agency over my work as much as possible. So when it came to this audiobook, I already knew that I wanted to sell it directly to my audience. I had never done an audiobook before, so that was the first thing. I did not know how to do an audiobook. I started out trying to do it myself. I got to the point where I realized this is just going a bit too far, and I then engaged a professional sound engineer who recorded the book for me, and that was an awesome process. So once that was done, he sent me the file, and now I have an audio file, an MP3 file that I now have to somehow publish. And of course, I don't know how to publish an audiobook without going through Audible or Google or one of the big conglomerates. But I knew I didn't want to do that because, again, they take such a massive cut. They put so many restrictions on it that I was like, there has to be another way. But I didn't know what that way was. So I started doing some research, and the research just kept leading me to more and more dead ends. Throughout this entire process, I had been telling myself the story, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do this, this is impossible. I was in that story because that's what my reality was telling me, and so of course I was affirming it and then getting more of it. Yesterday, or was it the day before, I caught myself in that story. I stopped what I was doing and I just simply changed the story. In the face of a reality that was telling me that this was impossible, I turned around and said, I know exactly what I'm doing. This is easy and it's working. That's all I did. I changed that story. Instantly, something popped up on my computer or I clicked something. I still do not actually know what I did. Suddenly I learned about audio player widget. Now, I don't know what a widget is. I don't know how to work with widgets. I don't know any of this. But again, I held the assumption that I know what I'm doing. This is easy. And it's working. I uploaded my audio file into this widget. I then took that code. Again, I'm not a coder, but I somehow knew what to do, and I took that code and I placed it into my website. It's working, and I'm finding this is easy and it's possible. And then I have to figure out how to sell it, because even with Squarespace, they want you to go through their website to sell things. So I had to, again, hold the assumption. I know what I'm doing. This is easy and it's working. And I was able to set up this ability to sell my audiobook through my website without going through any of the big conglomerates. I was able to maintain free agency over my work. So I just wanted to share that to remind you that if you have a project that you are doing and you think that you can't do it, or you don't know how to do it, or that it's impossible to get done, change the assumptions first. You have to start by holding the assumptions that, yes, I know what I'm doing. This is easy and it's working. I can do it. I am able to do it, and everything is working out for me. You have to start with those assumptions first, and then let reality reflect back the next action step. It will. It always does. And it happens so fast. But often we're just in that loop of, I don't know what I'm doing. This is really hard. I can't do it, which is the loop that I was in. And as soon as you catch yourself in that loop, that's the time to stop what you're doing. Take your hands off reality. Just stop all action. Go back in and say, I know what I'm doing. This is easy. And it's working. And then let your reality reveal the next action step from there. Things will move fast. You then just have to follow the signs. Like, just follow the action that presents itself to you. It will, it always does. As soon as you catch yourself in that loop, that's where you got to change it. Now, this is the thing. We forget because we think reality comes first. Reality comes second. Reality comes second to our assumptions. So that is how I was able to do something that I had never done before. I did not know how to do it. I didn't even think you could do it. But if you decide that that's what you want to do, hold the assumption that it's possible and do the action that's required, it is actually possible. But I am just so happy with this outcome, and everything changed when I changed the assumption. So keep that in mind for your next project. I hope that helps. This work is so powerful. It is so powerful, and it will help you do whatever it is that you want to do in reality. Anything is possible. Everything is possible, because you are the infinite I am, and you are causing your reality into existence always. So with that in mind, please remember, you are the amazing creators of your reality. You are the superstars of your show. You are the producers, the writers, the directors, and the actors in your movie. Whatever you assume to be true will be so. So assume the best for you, assume the best for everyone in your movie too, and you will have an amazing life. This is my wish, my vision, and my prayer for you and for me too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will look forward to seeing you next week in the next video. Bye.